give a warm introduction to Mr. Madhavan Nambi Narayanan. What an absolute honor.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now I'd like to welcome Mr. Sunil Kanchi from Orange County, who will start things off with a welcome speech.
I have a special privilege today because I have the privilege of inviting a family member, and that is Nambi Narayanan uncle. I don't know if you remember me, but I met you in 1993 in VSSC, really, when I was with my dad, and you were walking by. My dad was working with you, and he introduced me to you. So it is, when I say Nambi Narayanan uncle, it is purely because that extended family of VSSC, because Vikram Sarabhai Space Center and the Indian Space Research Program was truly a family. And every member of that family that I had met and interacted with, I consider myself a VSSC kid, because I grew up, my dad was a lifer at VSSC, and I grew up with people around me who were from the same team as Nambi Narayanan uncle. And what I really remember, what's made me today, me, is what I learned from people like my father, like Nambi Narayanan uncle, Mr. Muthanayagam, A.V. Muthanayagam, Arvamudan, Dan, Harinath, Hanumant Rao. See, these are people that you worked with, and these are people I grew up with. And I remember certain things, certain qualities that people would say, oh, SLV. Kids and my friends, my schoolmates, they would all say SLV, sea launching vehicle, PSLV, probably sea launching vehicle. They would make fun of us because in the initial days of the VSSC program, the ISRO program, there was a lot of failures. But from there was a lot of success. And that success was because of people like Nambi Narayanan uncle and others who have made Indian space program so proud. And that today we are finally on the space map of the world, and we're considered one of the top 5 space programs in the globe. So, as a kid, there are certain things that I could remember about this whole ISRO, VSSC, space, rocket community. And those were about the passion for science, the passion for engineering, and more than anything else, the passion to do great things for India and put India on the space map. That's what I really loved and learned about people like Nambi Narayanan uncle and others. So growing up in that kind of community, growing up in that kind of environment, it was a special kind of special experience for me. And when I learned from Ram and Sunita that Nambi Narayanan uncle is coming here, and they asked me to extend a welcome speech, I said it's my absolute pleasure. So with all my heart and on behalf of the greater LA community and the Orange County community of Mallu, Keralites, Indians, I would really welcome both of you. Sorry. I'm welcoming both of you to our community here to share with us the movie, the experiences, and love to hear more about you. So once again, a very warm welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that wonderful speech. My name is Aditya Ragas. I am part of Team Rocketry. I will MC today. A couple of house rules. This is a very confidential event. So one, if you could please silence all phones right now. I will give you 5 seconds to do that.
Yeah, well.
Thank you very much. We're sharing a lot of new information here, so please be cognizant of the information that you record, capture, and share to the world. This is a very special event, and we want you to be a part of Team Rocketry. We want to take you on the journey that we have been through over the last several years. So we really appreciate if you could respect that. With that, to Madhavan.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, a very profound apology for the delay. We are he especially is a rocket scientist and understands the value of every second. But here we were delayed for more than minutes and hours. Was totally beyond our control. And so forgive us for that delay, and I'm very, very sorry. I didn't mean to keep you all waiting. But we had some issues with the hotel and getting the car out of the parking and learning the rules of LA traffic over a period of time. When it said 25 miles, we didn't realize that it actually meant 1.5 hours. So on that account, I want to begin and say Rocketry has been a passion project for us. It started 4 years ago. And here, today we're here to talk about why we did the film, how the film happened, what is the difference between all the films that I've done and this one, and more importantly, why this film got made and why it should be made for somebody like Dr. Nambi Narayanan to be known from around the world. More importantly, why there should never be another Nambi Narayanan, either in India or any other country. So that is the whole purpose of this interaction. We will be asking a few questions. We'll have the floor open to you all to ask questions, and we promise you we'll answer with as much sincerity and integrity as we can. Let's go.
So, Madhavan sir, you have become the director, the actor, the main force in getting this story to the masses. I'm sure there were a lot of new learning experiences, transitioning as an actor and kind of implementing yourself as multiple roles, being this is your film from start to finish. Could you help us understand what that journey was like?
When the first time that I heard about Dr. Nambi Narayanan was when somebody told me that there is a movie that you should do. It's about a ISRO scientist who's very good looking, and he had an affair with a Maldivian woman, and then he was arrested, and then they realized it was a false case, and he fought his case and came out, and he's vindicated. So I thought, wow, I do different kind of movies. This could be a nice different movie to do, sort of like a James Bond, with a space scientist and a beautiful Maldivian woman, and maybe I was thinking how many songs and fight will be there in the film, and I'll make the film. And that's how I went to Trivandrum to meet Dr. Nambi Narayanan. But least did I know that one meeting would completely change my life as I knew it till then, completely. Turned it upside down and made me realize so many things that has actually cemented and completely diverted the way that my life has been going in the last 20 years. I've had the good privilege of having my life changed ever so often in the last 40 years of my life, becoming an actor and becoming a South Indian actor, then a North Indian actor, and then being called upon by Mr. Maniratnam and Rajkumar Harani, the privilege of working with some of the best. But nothing prepared me for the kind of change that's happened after I met Dr. Nambi Narayanan. And simply because when I first met him, I realized that this is not about a case. This is not about a simple case about a man being wrongfully accused of having an affair and selling secrets of India. There was a lot more to his story. Now, we had a fabulous video all ready to be presented to you all, but unfortunately, the projector is not working, I'm told. So we will just go ahead with verbally telling you how it mattered. But these videos will be available on YouTube for you all to pursue. So when I met him, I realized that Dr. Nambi Narayanan was very angsty. He was angry. He was upset that somebody could accuse him of being a traitor, of being somebody who would let down his country. And he was only talking about the day he was arrested and what was wrong about it and what was hollow about it and what was, so scandalous about it and why he's not ready to forgive the people who had him arrested like this. And so I also got taken in by the fact that he was so angry, and we wrote a script which was about the case, about how he got arrested, what were the false charges, what were the nitty-gritty of the case. And after 7 months, when I went to give the script to him, I realized that Dr. Nambi Narayanan told me something. He said, I've written it very well, very nice. But this part is wrong because I learned Krokow's instability theorem in Princeton, New Jersey. I said, 1 minute. When did you go to Princeton? He said, I was the first Ivy League scientist to go to Princeton, and I studied under Professor Luigi Crocco. And I started sweating. I was like, are you talking about Professor Luigi Crocco, who is considered the father of the moon mission in terms of his contribution? He said, yes. I said, when were you planning to tell me that, you went to Princeton after I've written the whole script? He said, oh, and then slowly, the fact that he was in Princeton, the fact that he went to Scotland and got 400 million pounds worth of equipment for free for India, the fact that he went to France with 52 scientists and was instrumental and became the father of the only liquid fuel engine that India has called the Vikas engine, the fact that he went to Russia, the contributions he's made to liquid fuel, to understanding and deals between India and other countries that was pivoting India as one of the most powerful forces in 1994 to compete in the satellite launch market. It completely blew my mind. And I was telling Nambi, sir, why didn't you not tell me about all this earlier? And he said, I don't know, why would anybody be interested? And I just did my job. Somebody paid me my salary, I did my job. But that's not important. How can they put this case against me? Sum and substance of it all is, I just realized what a huge national disservice it is to not know about people like Dr. Nambi Narayanan's contribution to the country. Especially because, like I said, a lot of definitions were clarified in my life. One of the things that made me understand that the true nature of an actual patriot is somebody who does his duty, putting his life on the line for the sake of the country, knowing very well that he will never be acknowledged. It's not the people who go out saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai and the valor, which the optics of valor that has been shown is not just the patriots. It's the constant working under the radar, not being recognized, not being thanked for their selfless and dangerous job that they do, but they do it day in and day out. And those are the true patriots that the country is standing on today, the pillars that the country is standing on today. And it is that very reason that we need to take care of these people. And it is very unfortunate that we didn't. And we're very unfortunate that Dr. Nambi Narayanan had to go through a phase of his life that's a shame to us. That is something that should never have happened, and the purpose of this movie is to make sure that another Nambi Narayanan is never treated the same way, and not just in India, but other parts of the country and other parts of the world themselves.
Let me say a question to you. The very first time you were able to see the first cut of the film, what was your initial reaction to it? Because telling your story is quite a tall order for anyone, including me, myself. So, if you could let us know what your thoughts were, that would be great.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Done.
Hello.
Hello.
Actually, I saw the film. We had lengthy discussions during the film making of the film. And he said he made a draft and then he redrafted it and then added many things to that story. But finally, he himself felt that the entire thing, if you have to take it in that style, it will be at least 4 or 5 hours minimum. So 4 or 5 hours you won't have the patience to watch a movie, or it would be. So we have to drop many interesting aspects of the story. So finally we got into, but I have also requested Madhavan not to have any dance in the movie.
Which I very readily agree, because I have 14 left feet.
And no dream songs and no stunt and hero hitting so many people, and also when the police is beating the so-called accused and don't hit back the police and try to make a big scene out of it, which are all not true. So finally we ended up in making the film which contains only the truth of the whole story. And very interesting, and actually for the first time I also understood, this many things we have achieved in this life. So that movie actually was an eye-opener to me, in the sense that so many things we have achieved. So that in a way is telling the upcoming, or the evolution of ISRO. How ISRO was. Actually, as you know, I joined ISRO in 1966, and when I joined, we were only 23 or 24 people. Now today you have in ISRO something close to 28,000 people. So you know the difference. So when I joined there was very limited facilities, and we didn't have any room excepting a church building and a school building and bishop's house. In fact, in the bishop's house, we used to sit around by putting 3 tables together, myself, Kalam, and Abdul Majid and Satya. These are the 4 engineers who were sitting around trying to discuss, dreaming about so many things which were not existent. So that is a kind of situation we grew up. But this film, after I saw the film, of course it has left out many things. That is his prerogative, but of course his reasoning was that it will become too long. Maybe you can ask him what he would like to talk about it. But on the other hand, the film contains only the truthful matters. It tells you exactly what had happened, and each thing which are shown there can be proved, or can be, you can be convinced on that. That is a feeling I got on the movies.
But that doesn't mean that there are no action sequences, there are no love sequences, because his truth includes all of those things. And I'd love to ask you about this, how did you manage to get the cut that you wanted for this film, knowing that if we talk about his entire story, you would need like a 5-set saga to talk about this?
Yeah, because it's actually quite unfair to try and put this gentleman's story in 1-2.5 hour film, because the extent of his achievements are so spectacular that I need 2.5 hours to explain just what he did in Kingston, or just what he did in France, or what he did in Russia when the USSR was breaking up, and how he got the cryogenic engines from Russia to India. Each one of them is a sequence that can go on for 2 hours, 3 hours, and very interestingly. But I was pondering about how to do this movie, what are the things to keep, what are the things not to keep. But then I realized the purpose of my storytelling was that I wanted Dr. Nambi Narayan's entire story to be told to the public, so that we as a nation take responsibility for our patriots. So there was only one path to follow when that question had to be answered, which is Dr. Nambi Narayan's life. So the whole film follows only Dr. Nambi Narayan, what happened to him. There is no accusations, there is no speculations, there is no investigations. The whole case is hardly 3 or 4 minutes in the film. What we go through is the journey of a man, the journey of a patriot, the journey of a rocket scientist from India, and those spectacular turn of events that happened in his life. So then my path became very clear. So I never had to follow somebody else's story. I never had to have a scene that didn't involve Dr. Nambi Narayan. And then to condense that story was the key. And fortunately for me, the story had already been written. They say fact is stranger than fiction, and his fact was definitely stranger than fiction. So I just had to pick and choose the emotions, and then the intensity of which kept going up to this arrest and finally his vindication. So it was a well-written script. I just had to choose the stories.
Yeah. Going back to his, my initial question to him about what he felt about the movie the first time you watched it. What was your reaction when he saw the movie, and were you surprised by what he told you? Were you happy, or what was your thought process?
I'll never forget what he said. At the risk of flattering ourselves, I'm going to tell you something that actually moved me. So Dr. Nambi Narayan never answers a question directly. If you ask him a question, he will tell you an answer. And then after some time, he will answer a question that you did, the reason you asked me this question was because of this. So he'll answer that question also. And after one day, he'll answer a question that you didn't ask but are going to ask. So that's how comprehensive his understanding of people and situation is. So when I showed him the film, we all were waiting in the office, 20 of us, because we wanted desperately to know what he thought of the film, because he is the first viewer and we had to get his approval. And everybody was pretending to not show attention to Dr. Nambi Narayan because we didn't want him to feel that everybody is looking at him. So when he came out, everybody was on the phone and ignoring him. He went to the toilet, he came out, and he said he had a flight to Trivandrum at 5 o'clock. So I'm sitting there and saying, sir, what do you think? He said, Madhavan, I have a flight at 5 o'clock. I think I should go to the airport. Everybody stopped talking on the phone. Like, what? So there are two reasons that somebody will say that. One is either you didn't like the film at all, it's horrible. And the other reason is maybe you really have to catch a flight. But it's a very funny thing I've been like to tell Dr. When we have previews in the film industry and they call us actors and directors to go and see somebody else's work, it becomes very difficult to come out and be honest about the movie to the director. You don't know how to, that is the one place I cannot act. So I came up with a brilliant line in my life. A brilliant line I came up with. I come out, I look at the director, I go straight to him, I give him an enthusiastic hug, look at him and say, what can I say, you've done it again. I let the director figure out what he has done. But what is other funny thing is when you do the movie and you come out and you're the one who's on the receiving end, people will come out and say, hey, and the hero engada pudicha. That means the film is a flop. Or they'll say, I don't know about the others, but I really enjoyed the movie. Flop. Or they'll say, where did you get all those locations from? Flop. If they say, first half was fantastic, but second half, yengyo puchu. Then padam yengyo puchu. There's no chance of the film. Any other reaction, except him coming out and looking at you like he hates you. But he's trying to say something nice. But more importantly, he or she is not leaving the area, then there is a slight chance that your film will be a hit. Because compliments don't come easy in the industry, especially the heartfelt ones. You're waiting there to assess and see what to say so that you're not held to it all throughout the release. Dr. Nambi Narayanan did not fall in that trap also. He said, I have to go. So he went to the lift. While he was in the lift, I said, sir, there are 20 people waiting there. They're likely to die of heart attack. Please tell us, you don't like the film, that's also okay. He just came out and he gave me a hug and tapped and said, I'll talk to you from Toronto. So he left. And then, sure enough, at 9 o'clock at night, I got a call from him. And I said, so please tell me, please tell us, what do you think of the film? And I'll never forget, he said, I have seen many things that most men will never see in their lives. Madhavan, and I have seen things that most men should not see also in their lives. And I thought I'd seen everything. But today, after seeing this movie, I have realized that I need to see more. I need to see how people will react to this film. So thank you for giving me the desire to live longer and to see the outcome of this film, because I really think the whole world should see it. So that was for me one of the biggest compliments I could get.
Nambi sir, I'm curious to see why it took you so long. Did you need time to digest the film and then give him a call and give your opinion on it, or were you trying to do? I'm going to answer this question, but I'm going to pose another question to you before answering the third question.
Honestly, I was not trying to dramatize it. I was not only moved, but I became speechless. So when you become speechless, what do you speak about it? So you can't speak about that whole thing. You see, in that movie, things which had really happened in my life are coming in front of my eye. You see, I can't see myself when I am living as an animal. I can't see. But in the movie, I am seeing Madhavan as myself. And then how he resembles me in the movie, very much like me. So it gives a feel, oh, this is what I did, this is what I did.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, but this is a very interesting point you told me. And there is a place where he is brutally being beaten up and tortured in the police station. And he said, even when I went through, people said that I never reacted to being beaten up, almost killed. But when I saw you being beaten up, I realized what I went through. And that is why it was difficult. Sorry, I just want to interrupt you myself. Yeah.
So that is the reason why I didn't give him an opinion. And of course the picture was extremely, I should say, great. Everyone in that film has acted well. And the guy sitting there has acted as my son-in-law.
Murli, put your hand up please.
So I was just looking at him, resemblance, and then stones were being thrown through the buses and things like that. I saw the facial expression of that guy. you know, you can't compare. You see, the whole thing is everyone in that film has acted so greatly. What is the reason is the director has done his job. That is the only reason why everyone has acted, no exception. There are characters like P.M. Nair, there are characters like Unni. Those characters are living today, even today. And I'm only hoping that they will see the movie and then give a comment which is exactly like what I'm just trying to say. So that's the answer for your question.
Madhavan sir, let's talk about your transformation, because he mentioned, you looked exactly like him. I feel like that journey from showing a young Nambi Narayanan to today's Nambi Narayanan sir. A lot of people who have done prosthetics, a lot of people who have just done CG, all this stuff that you see, a lot of people do, but to my knowledge, it seems like you had organically done this yourself.
The transformation would have been much better through the video, but unfortunately.
Yeah, we had a video plan, but I think this is the first film where a lot of us have grown from being 29 to 79 without any prosthetics, which means if you see the images of the beard and the weight and the color of the hair, everything is real. So we actually put on weight, we actually lost weight. I actually had the shape of my jaw changed, broken my jaw and my teeth twisted around to look a lot like old Nambi Narayanan sir. I actually sat on a chair to have my hair devoid of any color so that it looks this beautiful silver that he has. It took me 14 hours to do that. So it was very strange when we were doing 14 hours on the desk, on the chair. You have to sit for 14 hours while the guys are working. So instead of wasting those 14 hours, I had the entire office moved into the barber shop. So in the salon actually. So all my writers, my assistant directors were all sitting there and we were doing script reading while they were working on my hair. But we had to do that for 3 days to get the look right. And from then, being heavyweight, bodily heavy, to losing all that weight, we didn't have 6-7 months because the film has already started and we can't wait because every month the cost of production goes up. So how we did that within 14 days and the kind of research that went into putting on weight so that we lose it quickly without surgery, without working out, without fasting. Because if you lose weight quickly by fasting, then the face looks much older. You might lose weight and look thinner, but your face will look older. So how do you get rid of all those? So we did a lot of research on that. And again, I'm sorry, the video had very interesting points where we tell you how we did it, but we'll put it up on YouTube and you can see it. And that period of transformation, the amount of research that it involved, also helped in telling me as an actor how I can keep my face looking younger, how I can retain my hair. In fact, I'm going to ask you all a couple of questions. One is to tell you how exciting this film is likely to be. The gentleman who introduced us, where is he? Who thanked us in the beginning right now? Sorry, he left? Oh, he left? Oh, so much for the enthusiasm and space. Put your matula character. Where is something just kidding.
He was babysitting.
Oh, then he's forgiven. Then our apologies. Baby is the most important thing. But how many of you all know that Dr. Nambi Narayanan has been given the Padma Bhushan? How many of you all here know why? Yes? Anybody? No. You are part of the group, you can't answer. There is no prize for answering the right answer. Anybody knows why he was given the Padma Bhushan? Sorry?
Vikas engine.
Is it the Vikas engine? Who said it? I can't see. Because of the Vikas engine is what you're saying, ma'am? Anybody else? So, Dr. Nambi Narayanan has built a liquid, he's considered the father of the liquid fuel systems of ISRO. He built an engine called the Vikas engine, which he named after his mentor Vikram A. Sarabhai. He took 52 scientists to France to get it done. And why and how he did it will be in the film. But this engine has the unique distinction is from the day it has been incorporated into the PSLV till today, about 67 to 80 launches that has happened. This engine has the unique distinction of never having ever failed. The missions might have failed, the satellites might have failed, but the engine has never failed. And Dr. Nambi Narayanan will tell you more about that engine. But I'm coming to the transformation, which is the reason I did this film is because we had to make sure that every aspect of the film was believable. If I had patched on mustache and if I had put on padding and it looked all unreal, not me as other scientist, or like you said, if you were dancing around trees, then the suspension of disbelief would come so much on the film that if I tell you that he actually built a reliable engine that has never failed, or that he was arrested and he was tortured and almost killed, all that looks like a cinematic liberty, which is why the look had to be so real. And so we went through hell, but we learned a lot of things. But I think Dr. Nambi Narayanan will tell you more about the Vikasas.
No, I didn't want to add much more than what he has already told, but it is an excellent engine which has been built with built-in reliability. It has never failed. And if you want to make it fail, then you have to do something else. Sabotage it, otherwise it cannot fail. But what is important is when we could not get through the cryogenic systems, which is again a liquid propulsion system, with high energy propellants, liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. We were handicapped because we couldn't lift higher weights. We originally planned for a Mars mission and a Chandrayaan mission and other missions, assuming that these cryogenic systems will come, but it didn't come. So with the existing Vikas engine, which is not meant to do such heavy lifting, I mean, I am not saying that it has lifted heavy, but we reduced the payload. So, in the sense that total weight, we have reduced it in that. So, this Vikas engine was able to do the entire job successfully, both in the Mars mission as well as in the Chandrayaan mission. Now, later, of course, we are now having the cryogenic engine, so we will be able to lift heavier weights to Mars as well as to Moon. That's what we are. And also to the space station.
I know that's a lot to understand and accept and realize and digest. But at this point in time, I think we're going to open up the questions to the audience, and I believe a couple of press people are here as well. Our only request is that the questions are extremely specific to the film Rocketry the Nambi Effect. We all know how much we love both of these gentlemen and all of their past achievements, but let's keep the questions to exactly what this meeting is about today.
Okay, sure. What's your question? Why you can't speak without a mic? So let's more put the mics down. No, I'm just kidding. It's here. Sure.
Yeah, you are the professor and I am from Germany, USA, and I'm representing. I'm a contributor of one of the Kerala channel, Madhavan Dr, and we have a Pradasi channel which airs from the USA and Canada, and we have two more members here. So here the camera and here the gentleman. So my question is to Mr. Madhavan. So this is your debut film, and it's very successful from the accolades you got. So I just wanted to find out, like, what motivated you to become the director and producer, and also I want to find out what is your experience behind that making so successful in the initial debut itself.
Thank you so much for your kind question. We haven't attained a lot of success yet because the film will release on the 1st of July. And we are really praying hard, first of all as a producer, that it becomes successful because we put our money where our mouth is and so made this film. Secondly, again, thank you for the sweetness of the question. The first one is, I wanted to write this script because I couldn't find anybody in the industry who understood engineering enough to write about a rocket scientist. So I troubled this man day and night to understand what he was saying, and so I can depict rocket science to the audience. So you'll understand my challenge, because when you make a biopic on a badminton player or a singer or a MMA artist or a boxer, it's easy to show what they do well. You know, I can show a boxer boxing well, or a runner running fast, or somebody singing well. But how do you tell the public what a rocket scientist does? And how do you tell the difference between a rocket scientist, a genius rocket scientist, and an exceptionally genius rocket scientist? So you really have to understand the subject and then write it in a manner in which the audience doesn't feel alienated in the process. So that was a big challenge, and I hope that I don't alienate the audience when they see the film. The third thing was, once I had written it, you know, I always wanted to act in it, because that's the whole reason I picked up the film, and it was a great. I always was I'm a big admirer of Kamal sir, and I've seen him play Nayakan, and you know how he looked from the young man to the old man. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to do this film. Always wanted to do a film that I would be able to show so many age groups, and this one was a story right over there. And I didn't realize the challenges I would have. But direction was not something I wanted to do. It was supposed to be some other gentleman who was much more experienced in directing it. But unfortunately, 1 month before the release of before the starting of the shoot, he couldn't direct the film. And so the responsibility of directing the film came upon me. And the choice was either drop the project and, you know, till we find a good director, or go ahead and make the film and take the plunge. I've never directed an iPhone film or anything in my life. I've never been to, like, it's always good to be the actor. You hear the script, you find out who the cast is, who the heroine is, where are we shooting. You go to the location, you get into character, you do pack up, you go back home, enjoy. Once the film is ready, you finish the dubbing, take your money, and you just hope and pray the film does well. But as a producer and a director, your job never ends, ever. And so that was not a responsibility I was ready to take up. And my wife has made me swear that I will not take it up again. till I buy a house of my own. So that is the challenge. But the challenges that were staring me when I started shooting the film, because it is unique, unlike any other Indian film. I'll tell you why. Like RRR or KGF or Vikram, all these films are shot in one language and dubbed in all the other languages. Here we shot the film in English with Shah Rukh and me and the rest of the people. Then we shot the film in Hindi, so there's no dubbing. So we shot the film in Hindi. Then we shot the film in Tamil, with instead of Shah Rukh, we shoot with Surya. So every shot was, where are you going? It is like that. You have to take the shot and then the next language. So it was unprecedented. I don't think anybody's ever done that. But we wanted to do it because we wanted to make sure, like I said, the film has to sound and feel real for you to admire the achievement of Dr. Nambi Narayanan, or else it will look like a big liberty. And like Dr. Nambi Narayanan said, not one cinematic liberty has been taken in this film. Except for crunching time and space and characters together, everything you saw or see in the film is absolutely true.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Madhavan,
We'll just let the press do the first question and then we'll come to the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you really quick
Sure.
just few questions?
Please. Sure.
I believe your first Malayalam movie was made in USA, right? And it's made in California. Anyway, this movie has stayed in many countries, at least few countries. What are the challenges you faced in other than the pandemic? I mean, the schedules, the weather, anything interesting you want to share?
I think like Kerala is God's own country, this film is also God's own film. Because I really, like I was telling you, I couldn't have planned or designed anything in this film in the way it has turned out. Because we shoot normal films and we have to go to another country. 2 other bloody people will miss their flight, or somebody will get unwell, or the rain will happen, or the snow will happen. But in this film, with God's grace, not one day did we have to either cancel the shoot, extend the schedule, and anybody who's been involved in the film will tell you that when we started shooting at 7 in the morning and we have to pack up at 6 in the evening, we never reached till 6 o'clock. We always packed up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. I think that is because of the intense amount of preparation that everybody did. And all my actors had done workshops and done the lines, so I really had to just execute the film. So we shot in 7 countries. Wherever we went, we got VIP treatment thanks to Dr. Nambi Narayanan. So when we went to France, they said, because we got to actually shoot in their space facility. When normal people are not allowed to go, they allowed us, gave us a royal invitation and opened up the entire space facility for us to shoot only because of Dr. Nambi Narayanan. They love him so much. We went to Russia, same thing. Went to Georgia, same thing. Oh, Nambi Narayanan, very good. Please, what do you want? So, I mean, that is the kind of respect the scientific community around the world has for Dr. Nambi Narayanan, and we in India don't know about it. That is what is very touching to me.
Thank you. I think, or I mean, correct me if you're wrong, you said once, this was your biggest film ever, right? You have a comment?
Yeah, I say it's my biggest film ever because my banker will tell you that it better work.
Okay. India's Prime Minister Modi, few celebrities I mentioned, Amitabh Bachchan, Priyanka Chopra, which she's here, all praised the movie. Has they seen the movies, or how was their reaction other than praising her? Did they really see the movies, or at least the edit?
No, sir, they did not see the film, and they did not praise the film also. They have praised the trailer.
Right.
On the Twitter, they have seen the trailer, and they have praised the trailer because it made an impact on them. The only place the film has been shown was in Cannes, which was about a month ago, and we've got reactions from Dr. Rahman, from A.R. Rahman.
Yeah.
Those are after seeing the film, and a few people here would have also seen the film. But Mr. Amitabh Bachchan and Priyanka Chopra and Hrithik Roshan and all the other stars, they have only praised the trailer. That's all there is.
You pretty much answered my question. I was going to ask you how was the experience from the Cannes, not the A.R. Rahman or other ones, the other international audience or viewers.
The only objective of this film was to get the recognition that Dr. Nambi Narayanan deserves worldwide. Okay, and I was only frightened about that. I was hoping that my filmmaking skills or my acting abilities does not come in the way of people recognizing Dr. Nambi Narayanan. And that was my biggest prayer when the film was on at Cannes. And when the film got done and Dr. Nambi Narayanan stood up, we got a resounding standing ovation for him. And so my purpose was served. And therefore, I knew that at least as a filmmaker, I have not botched up the filming so much that people are able to ignore that and not talk about Dr. Nambi Narayanan. That was my biggest takeaway from Cannes.
Okay, two more then.
Yeah.
There's no Malayalam actors in this movie, right? Is there?
Everybody is a Malayalam actor, I say. Malayalam actor, Malayalam technicians, Malayalam editor, everybody is Malayali in our film. And not Mallu. I didn't say that.
ഒരു ചോദ്യം നാരായണൻ സാറിനോട് ഓർമ്മയുടെ ഭ്രമണപഥത്തിൽ ഇനി എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ എനിക്ക് കൂട്ടിച്ചേർക്കുന്നത്?
Yes, I think we have to add something to that book. I don't know whether all of you will follow Malayalam? No. So
Most of us.
so I can answer. He's asking me in Malayalam. There is a book I wrote in Malayalam. That is the orbit of my memories. That is the translation of that. He wants to know whether I am going to add anything to that book. So I am going to answer that question. Yes, we are going to add very soon some 3-4 chapters in that book, which I didn't add. I mean, I didn't keep it there at that time for various reasons, because there could be somebody may try to get a stay for that book, and that kind of a problems could arise. But they are truths. I am not going to tell any lie or anything. So what we did not show in that book earlier, we want to add it now in another 3-4 months. We want to bring it back with a different this one.
Thank you.
You read the book? Have you read that book?
No, I read about the narration and everything I prepared, but I never read the book fully. Okay, I will. Well, as you know, many of the Malayalam press people, from among us, it's a privilege to meet you, first of all, at face to face on a press meet, You know that how many years you've been hearing, and which you all shared in one go. So that's what I went straight to the question.
No. The way I asked the question was, it was released by MT Vaskar in Dubai, and very successful reporting and reviews of that book kept coming from the
editions and the current books.
Yeah.
Are there any future or Malayalam projects for you upcoming, or in discussions or anything?
It's just a all-encompassing situation. So after this film, I'm going to relax, enjoy myself, and see what I want to do next.
Thank you.
Thank you. We should now give a question. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Can you give the mic to them, please?
I can.
Yeah.
I'm from the newspaper called India West, very popular newspaper here. And you answered most of the questions. I mean, as journalists, we have these standard questions. One thing I'll tell you, you are obviously successful in the movie because my interest in Dr. Nambi is a lot more now. I read much more about you, so you have succeeded in the project as I see. Did you have to learn a lot of scientific because I guess you're an MBA graduate, and did you really have to study a lot?
Her question was, did I really have to dwell a lot into the scientific aspects of rocketry? Yes, ma'am. I'm an electronics graduate, and but I've always been engineeringly inclined, technically inclined. So that is one thing. Second thing is, Dr. Nambi Narayanan kept analyzing me, because after all, I'm a guy who sings and dances and around trees with beautiful women. How am I going to show what he did? So I think I will let him answer his question on why he selected me.
I think he's a good student. I am a good
Teacher, he's a fantastic teacher.
So he has understood the subject. Otherwise, you will see the picture, then you will understand what I mean by this. Because complex technology is on one side. Another side is that complex technology in a common man's language, bring it and visualize it and then picturize it and then show it to you so that you understand it without any difficulty is another thing. Second part he has achieved. So you can be rest assured that he has understood the subject, otherwise he could not have done that job. Yeah.
So you've been a good director and a good student.
I have been a very good student. If I've been a good director, that's what you might have to write a review after the release. I will not be presumptuous, but I definitely know that I can build a liquid fuel engine with my hands if left to me.
Excuse me, I just want to add here. He kept on telling that he will go and relax and he will not do any more picture as a director, etc. I can tell you in this meeting, nobody will allow him to be like that after this movie. They will keep on asking him that, you must become a director rather than an actor.
I have a question to Dr. Nambi here. So, do you have any message to give to the young generation who aspire to become, rocket scientists or in general?
Actually, there is a misnomer about this so-called rocket technology. It is like any other part of engineering. You have chemical, mechanical, electrical, civil, like that. That is also a combination of many things. So it is not something as if it's something very complex, etc. No. So if you want to become a rocket scientist, you can basically, if you want to become a man who is going to lift the rocket, then you have some subjects like mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, etc. If you want to guide the rocket, then you should take electronics and then guidance, control, etc. So that is the only difference. But other than becoming a scientist, from my own experience, because I also thought by contributing something, by doing some work, you can contribute to the nation as well as you can be satisfied with what you have achieved. But after having learned this, I am telling you that you may face difficulties, obstacles, problems. It could come out of the envy of the people or some other political problems. So many things are there in your life. And this I am telling for the younger generation. So be prepared to face such problems. That is number one. Number two, which is very important from my point of view, is that if you believe in certain things, if you believe that this is the truth, I have done nothing wrong, and this is the fact, I will stand by it. That kind of a conviction if you have, don't ever surrender to anyone. Just keep fighting.
Yes.
We can open up to the
One more question. You had this movie dubbed in 3 languages, so were the sets the same or did you have to make a set in locally in Bombay, Mumbai?
What is it?
What?
You dubbed it in.
You made a movie in 3 languages, you said. So were they on the exact same sets that you had to take with the
Yeah, one shot in Hindi, one shot in Tamil, one shot in English.
So the actors were there doing the same thing?
Yeah. We repeated it all over the world. It was exactly the same. Yes, sir. You've been asked that. Yeah.
My name is Kumar Venkat. I'm from Orange County here in California. I'm extremely delighted to have the opportunity to listen to both of you as well as your own views and endeavor. My question is, there's been a growing trend in India to make movies, biopics of people who have contributed in great measure to the growth of the country. I don't want to play the role of provocateur. This is a very controversial subject we are dealing with today, given the extraordinary life of Dr. Nambi Narayanan. During the initial stages of trying to make this movie, or as the movie progresses, did you encounter any resistance in a big country like India about making this movie and running into any controversial issues or any attempts to stymie the progress of the making? Because this subject is evolving, and I'm hopeful that this movie will be evolving because it's going to send a very different message, and I hope you will be very successful.
For those of you who didn't hear the question was, did I face any resistance or did I face any problems because it was supposed to be a controversial subject that I'm shooting in India? So the answer to that, sir, and without any buttering it in any way, absolutely not. I think the fact that what happened to Dr. Nambi Narayanan should never happen again is a resounding emotion throughout the country. And it crosses over barriers of everybody, irrespective of what background, politically alignment, or any other thing. So they all feel, including the media, that have realized that they've victimized an individual like him. So I've had, if nothing else, extreme amount of support, right from the highest echelons to the common public. So for that, I have to say, like Dr. Nambi Narayanan also has said, that he has, in this country of India, when we keep complaining about the judiciary, though it took him long, but he has finally got his vindication. The government and the court and the Supreme Court changed its personality to accommodate the kind of compensation that he needed and the kind of restoration of his dignity as best as they could. And Dr. Nambi Narayanan is a common man. He's not a wealthy man or with infinite monetary money at his disposal to be able to tackle heavy court cases with governments, powerful governments in the center and the state. Despite that, he won the case, which says a lot about our judiciary. So, on the same lines, I think the people of India are, on the mend, and they want to make sure that we celebrate our heroes. So, other biopics may be as true as possible, but for me, I had no issues at all. And is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to add a little more to what Madhavan said. It was a controversy to begin with, but it is no more a controversy.
It's fact.
As he said. But what is important is, I'm telling this, not just because I like to say it, but the truth is that it is backed by 2 judgments of the Supreme Court, the highest court of the country. I mean, supposing if there is a controversy, let it be a controversy, but will you believe the Supreme Court judgment or will you say hell with the Supreme Court judgment? So the controversy is no more there. It's a fact. Now the result is 2-3 things are there. One is the Supreme Court gave me a compensation which I have not asked for. Number 2, what does it mean? The Supreme Court feels sad about it, feels bad about it, and feels and put its stamp on that and then say that this is what we at least think that you deserve. And that too, they found out this money to be paid by the Constitution of India. That is for the first time. The Constitution comes in my way to help me out on this. The second thing is, the result of the Supreme Court judgment gets into a situation where 18 people are now arraigned as accused and they are facing the music. Now, so you can be rest assured that there is no more controversy and things are well within the truth.
And I've always said that there are two reasons why I made the film. I've only told you one reason. The second reason is India has great potential in terms of what we've done, in terms of our history and culture and everything. But we're also very, very good at another thing, which is space, technology, science, IT. And somehow the film industry has never been able to make genuine films that we are genuinely proud of, which actually talk about the likes of Sundar Pichai or Satya Nadella or Nambi Narayanan or Arya Bhatta or many such people who've come in and made science, technology, space technology, all this as a forefront of India's achievement. So this film is a tribute to all engineers and all technicians from India who've gone around the world and spread our good name and achieved a great amount of success and contributed to humanity with their talent. So that's another reason we did it. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, you got the mic.
Yeah, I got the mic. Thank you. So I have three questions, two for you and one for Lisa. So the first question is, I think you started earlier. Do you have any trouble directing the movie? And this is the first movie you're directing after you're directing yourself. So did you struggle? Did you reach out to any directors to get some input? And the second question is, do you have any trouble landholding the project? Or did you look for other
sure.
producers? Or did you try to look for other producers? Or,
Okay, so the first question is, as a director, yes, because I have never directed anything before. And so I didn't know where to start and what to look at it. If I looked at what was ahead of me, it was a huge thing to be achieved. But I had a good friend of mine, and I met him today, and he reminded me. His lines to me helped me a lot. He said, Maddie, don't look at the whole picture because it looked like a huge mountain to climb. Just take it one shot at a time. So one shot in one frame, be it an insert, be it a shot, be it a line. Just take it and then build on it, and see where you get far instead of looking at the whole picture at the same time. And that's exactly what I did. It was sound advice. I did not go to any other director or any other person for advice in terms of shooting the film because I didn't like the way it was being told in the first place in my country. So I didn't like the films that were being shown, and as far as technology was concerned. So I didn't know anybody who would be able to advise me because I was trying to, break into a new path over here. The second thing is nobody wanted to bankroll it on the fact that it's a commercial film because they always wanted to know how many fights, how many songs, how many kisses, where are the dances happening. And none of that was happening in our film. So I actually got funders who did not bank on our Madhavan, but they banked on Nambi Narayanan. In fact, they said, oh, you want to tell his story? Here is the money. We're not going to ask you any question, but you must make this film and make it with what you need. So the other two funders that I had and the producers, they were big fans of Dr. Nambi Narayanan. That's how the film happened.
Thank you. And I had one other question for Nambi sir. So what do you think of ISRO as it stands today? Do you think it has to be different? I mean, looking back, right, when we started, is this what you thought ISRO would be today? Or do you have anything more? And please do not sugarcoat anything else.
No, ISRO continues to be a good organization with full of engineers with enthusiasm. There is no question on that. But there were some setbacks on account of this spy case. But now they have recovered from that. Time delay was there, but then they are proceeding now. I have nothing to say that ISRO has gone bad or.
No, we're very proud of their achievements. Yeah.
Yes.
Considering the amount of money we spent on doing half the thing, including the Mangal mission. I'm sure you're aware of this. We have achieved that in the first attempt at a cost which is cheaper than our science fiction film. And so we cannot take away anything from these ISRO scientists. They're spectacular. And let me tell you one more thing, and Dr. Nambi Narayanan himself is part of that. Every day these scientists are getting offers to come out and work over here. Every day. There are so many, the space is the next big thing. But they continue to say, nahi bhaiya, we want to work in India. And so kudos to everybody in ISRO on that. Yes, whoever has the mic.
I got it.
Okay, you're the king.
Yeah, I have two questions and a comment. I'll make a comment first, entertainment. There are a lot of dignitaries here. But I have something that really frightened me. Madhavan used to say, why can't you be an engineer? Why can't you be a scientist? And today, the whole family is so proud that he made a movie about Dr. Nambi Narayanan, who's I felt my whole family, my friend, thanks to you. And my wife, Bata, she knows him quite well. She's also very proud.
Thank you.
Now, I have two questions. One is for Dr. Nambi Narayanan. So imagine that you were young, and you're working on this liquid fuel rocket. Now, you worked for many, many months, years, many years, and in a moment, it's either going to work or it's not going to work. So how did you feel at that time when they are first testing your rocket? Did you sweat? Like I'm sweating right now, just asking the question.
Like we're all sitting right now.
So tell us about your feeling.
Well, it is difficult to explain what I feel, what I felt about it. Whenever major milestones are there, when full engine test or first time you are testing an engine, naturally you will be under tension because you want to know whether it will work or it will fail. We have met with failures, we have met with successes and all. But the point is, it is something like, because being a man, I can't understand the pain a lady goes through when she delivers a child. So it is like this, each test is giving birth to a child. So you feel, and the whole thing comes out successful, you feel very happy about it. There is no question.
I think that's a fantastic answer. He described the birth of a child to this project. And thank you very much for the answer. Now, question for Madhavan. I'm a fan of a lot of these movies. And I'm so glad you spoke so well that this is going to be a unique movie. When I came here with all I said, okay, beautiful mind. Okay, and I'm in your infinity. And all the movies came to my mind. So, are you comparing a movie to any of these? Or is your movie so unique that you didn't even think about the others?
Thank you, sir, for all the nice words. Yeah, I think my film is going to be better than all these movies. Because I have a true hero who is better than all of these people put together. I mean, everybody's struggle is the same, but I'm sure they had to go through all the trauma. But I don't think that anyone that you've mentioned as a movie, as an individual, would have gone through the gambit of emotions, the gambit of the ups and downs like Dr. Nambi Narayanan has. From he's almost going to be an octogenarian, right? And to have this moment in his life when he can see his final vindication happening in front of his eyes, it's going to be such a unique thing. So for me, the challenge was much harder, and I think that I did, and you're very right, I did keep movies like A Beautiful Mind in mind while I was doing it, or The Man Who Knew Infinity. But when I was writing the story, I still realized my challenges were much taller than these stories, much taller.
Wow. I think we can stay here all night.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you all so much for coming today.
We'll take last two questions.
Okay. Last two questions.
Last two questions. From this side to balance it out. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Jump in.
Yeah, my name is Adi, and I study at UC Merced, and I was just wondering. I know it's super difficult to direct and act in a movie, and I'm a big fan of your movies. And congratulations on the trailer. I watched it way before, and I was just wondering how much pressure does that take? Because I definitely know it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of work. What can you give to the younger generation to deal with the pressure that people have to go through right now? Because as a younger person, I want to be able to handle the pressure and get better day by day.
There is no ideal life, my friend, and it doesn't matter what achievement you have or what stage of your life you've reached. And even right now, Dr. Nambi Narayanan and me are under pressure about how this film is going to turn out. So pressure is going to be your best friend. It's best that you make friends with it and know that this too shall pass. So and pass on to another pressure. So go ahead.
1 minute let me interfere. Actually, he may be under tension about the film. Okay, that is his baby, but I am not under tension. I am very sure that this is going to be a very big hit. There is no question.
I thought I'll get some something from you.
Last question.
Yeah.
Thank you. As an introduction, I watched the very first rocket being launched from Tumba, sitting in my dormitory in college engineering in Toronto. But this conversation brings to another question. You mentioned, Dr. Narayanan mentioned the importance of explaining complex quantities to common people for the success of the movie. Either one of you can answer that. In that context, what is the status of cryogenics today? What is the status of rocket propulsion today? And are you involved in development and continuing the rocket program in India?
It needs an elaborate answer, but I can try to be very brief. We started with a 3-inch diameter, 5 kilogram solid propellant. Now today we have 150 tons and approximately 3 meter diameter, not 3 inch, 3 meter. It's close to 10 feet. And we are second in the world, only next to US, in terms of, they're very small difference only, not very big. So that's what this situation on solid propulsion is concerned. Meaning that these solid propulsion rockets can work as strap-on boosters for any payload you are talking about. Let it be moon mission, Mars mission, or any interplanetary mission. Okay, that's with respect to solids. With respect to liquid, we have a very successful Vikas engine, which refuses to fail, and which is continuously being used in almost all our missions. Now, you need a cryogenic system as good as the Vikas engine, and we are in the process of making it to happen. Maybe in another 6 months or 1 year maximum, it will also be available. Which means that we can put things together with a strap-on, with a combination of the cryo as well as the Vikas. So most of the missions can be achieved.
In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Mars mission was achieved only with solid and liquid fuel, without the cryogenic, which by itself is a phenomenal achievement. Thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Okay, sure.
I'm seeing, I'm hearing from everyone, where promotion will be the film in Houston, Texas, Dallas, everywhere, that this is really a new idea of the promoting the film. So how did you come up with this idea?
Oh, that's a good question. The thing is, when we come to promote a fictional film, we're only promoting how much fun we had, where we shot, how the characterizations are, because truly that's all we can promote. Or what it was fun working with each other and how there was professionalism. That's all I do. But I thought that, I've made a biopic, which means that what better way to promote the film than to have the real man with you, and so that you can ask a question to him and get an answer from the person himself on which the film is made. Now imagine you did Gandhi and you were able to talk to Gandhi while he was alive, or even if you were talking to Steve Jobs when the film was made. That for me would have been a unique promotion, because it would have added so much reality to the film, which is why I decided to take Dr. Narayanan to all the places. And he is an amazing man in terms of promotion. He's the first one to be ready. He's the first one to be at the airport. If he was a heroine, I would have been in love with him and had an affair.
Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot thank you enough for coming and joining us on this journey tonight.
She's asking.
Yeah. Okay, last two questions, 1 year. Yes, sir.
Question so much, but I love the T-shirt that he's wearing.
Oh, you like the T-shirt?
Is that a promotional one?
Yes, it is. So we've got merchandise happening soon. Please give him a T-shirt. He likes it. We need it. All right. Yes.
And the other question is that name Rocketry based on the trial, the controversy?
No, rocketry, like dentistry, the field of rocketry. Yeah, it's just a scientific term for the department of rocketry.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Yeah, yes.
Usually I've heard that, or I've experienced that when you explain certain concepts, scientific things to others, is when you
brilliant question. You see, I always have a lot of faith in the younger Indian generation, and you prove it to me. It's a beautiful question that you asked. What she's asked is, you know, when you have a scientific explanation to do, then when you explain it to somebody, you understand it even better as you're explaining. But for this film, because it was rocket science, how do you explain it without oversimplifying it, at the same time maintaining the dignity of the fact that it is rocket science, and how did you include or exclude the audiences while I was trying to explain his achievement? It's a fantastic question. It's the whole reason why I wrote the script. It's the whole reason why I troubled the man. Because I believe that, when you see a film like Inception or Interstellar or Jurassic Park, you actually go there believing that you're watching films not just from directors, but from scientists, because they've done so much of research. You're ready to believe what they say. That is the first thing that I want. That's the first respect that I wanted for this film. That I wanted people to know that Madhavan knows about rocket science. So I did learn about it. I troubled him to a great extent to understand what we were doing. Secondly, I believe that the simplicity of rocket science is why it is so complicated. If you look at the rocket engines per se, it's the simplicity of it that is the toughest thing to crack. So similarly, for me also, the simplicity of what the rocket engine was doing was the toughest to crack, but the easiest to portray. So, if you want to know what I mean in simple terms, it's rocket science. I don't care if you don't understand, but you have to understand the purpose behind it.